And we are back with the fifth segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fifth segment, we're going to do a quick recap of the NBA games that took place yesterday. And then we're going to do a quick prediction of the games that are happening this weekend, as well as the football games that are going to happen this weekend. So we're cramming a lot into this Friday segment and this final segment. And also, I should point out that Joel Embiid says he is determined to find the, quote, snitch in the Sixers locker room, excuse me. Oh my goodness. And Paul George also in the players only meeting. He actually no, not in the players only meeting, but I believe it was on his podcast. He said, "I don't know how Shams got that story or how that even leaked." So clearly, they got a mole in the locker room, and he is determined to figure out exactly who that is. And there's a lot of drama for Philly, and I don't really expect them to be able to bounce back from the season that they're having. But also, Lil Fettuccine in the chat. If I don't watch next week's podcast, happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you so much. Very wholesome. But let's go right ahead and get into this quick recap. It's going to be a very quick recap. So, every single game that I got, aside from the Spurs against the Jazz, ended up being wrong in my predictions. The Spurs, they ended up beating the Jazz 126-118. Victor Wembanyama did not play in this game, which was very surprising, but they still ultimately ended up winning. Harrison Barnes dropped 25 and 10, and on the Jazz side, Lauri Markkanen ended with 27. Now, every other game that I got wrong, the Raptors ended up beating the Timberwolves. I thought the Timberwolves were going to win, but the Timberwolves ended up dropping the game, mainly because Rudy Gobert was being a bit of an annoying, complaining player in that game. There was one instance where he had the ball in the post. He wanted the ball in the post, and then he got a lazy 3-second violation because he walked away from the paint instead of running out of the paint. And I will say that while he was wide open on that dunk, I've seen Rudy Gobert miss dunks. I've also seen him airball dunks, and I have never seen the Timberwolves run a play with Rudy Gobert in the post. So grow up and maybe not stand in the post like that. Who knows? But regardless, the Anthony Edwards, he ended with 26 points, also ended with an argument against Rudy Gobert because why would he take a 3-second violation? Obviously, that hindered the team, especially when they were trying to win. RJ Barrett ended with 31, and that was the game. The Hornets ended up beating the Pistons. I thought the Pistons were going to come out winning this game, but they did not. The Hornets completely... who has the worst jersey in the NBA right now? I have no idea. I think all the jerseys, I think they look great, especially the Raptors jersey. Those jerseys, those classic jerseys are fantastic. The Warriors, they also have pretty solid jerseys. And if I had to pick a team that had the worst, I really can't pick any of these teams that have like bad jerseys. I think they're really nice. I think a lot of these jerseys are very clean. I mean, one that I just cannot stand is Dallas Mavericks alternative green uniforms. I think those are very ugly, and that's just my opinion though. The Pistons, they had Cade Cunningham drop 27 and 10 and still lost. They also had Tobias Harris, who is having a much better season than Paul George right now, by the way, ended with 26 points and 8 rebounds. Again, still lost. And as we know, the Lakers ended up losing to the Magic 119-118. LeBron and AD played fantastic. And that was all she wrote for these games. Now, in today's games, we're going to do a quick prediction. Nets versus 76ers. We're going Nets. Warriors against Pelicans. We're going Warriors. Mavericks against Nuggets. I'm going Nuggets. Celtics against Wizards. I'm going Celtics. Pacers against the Bucks. I'm going for the Pacers. I do not trust the Bucks at all. Trailblazers against the Houston Rockets. I'm going Houston. Hawks against the Bulls. I'm going to pick the Hawks. They can never stray too far from being a 500 win rate team. And Kings against the Clippers. I'm going for... That one's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the Kings on this one. Then tomorrow, the Knicks play the Jazz. I'm going Knicks. Warriors play Spurs. I'm going Warriors. Nuggets play Lakers. I'm going Nuggets. Jamal Murray's just going to find a way to turn into Michael Jordan in that game. Pistons, they're going up against the Magic. I'm going to pick the Magic. Trailblazers against Houston. Again, I'm going for Houston in this matchup again. And I believe the they play each other literally back-to-back days in Houston's arena. That's weird. But I'm going to go with Hornets against the Bucks. I do not trust the Bucks at all. And then Grizzlies against the Bulls. Actually, we're sticking with Hornets on that one. And then on Sunday, the games for the NBA, we're going Mavericks against the Heat, Nets against the Kings. Actually, the Kings against the Nets, excuse me. The Timberwolves, I think the Celtics are going to beat the Timberwolves on Sunday. Then the Wizards, they're matching up against the Pacers. I'm going for the Pacers on Sunday. 76ers against the Clippers. I'm going for the Clippers in this Sunday matchup. And the Cavs are going to go up against the Raptors. I think the Cavs are easily going to beat them. So that's the NBA. And now we're going to go over to football and go to a quick prediction of this weekend and the games for week 12. Excuse me. I'm jumped the gun a little bit over there. So the Giants, they're going to play the Bucks. The Bucks are going to destroy the Giants. The Bears are going up against the Vikings. The Vikings are going to beat the Bears. Lions against the Colts. We're going Lions in this one. Cowboys against Commanders. We're going Commanders in this one. Chiefs against Panthers. We're going Chiefs in this one. Titans against the Texans. I'm going to pick the Texans for this one. Pats against the Dolphins. I will pick the Dolphins in this one. Broncos against the Raiders. I think the Broncos are going to have their number. Niners against the Packers. I'm going to pick the Packers in this one. That's going to be tough, actually, because the Packers, they always have a little bugaboo with the Niners, and maybe this will be like the get-right game for the 49ers, but I think I'm going to go with my guts, and I'm going to go with the Niners because they just always tend to beat them. I will be happy to be wrong, though. Next is the Cardinals against the Seahawks. I'm going to pick the Cardinals in this matchup. The Eagles going up against the Rams. I'm going to pick the Eagles in this matchup as much as I'd love to see the Rams beat them. And then the Ravens go up against the Chargers on Monday. I'll save that prediction for later, but those are all my predictions for the day. And that's all that I have on this fifth segment, and that is it for this podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Sports Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And as usual, we love to hear what you guys have to say during the show, whether it be a hot take, whether it be a burning question, or anything that you're just dying to share. We are all ears. If you really want your comment or question to get noticed, I recommend using Super Chat. So you just click on the $sign below the chat box, and you can send in your comments and or donations that way. If Super Chat is not really your thing, you can always use the link displayed below the ticker on every show segment, gsmcpodcast.net, and you can send in your comments and or donations that way as well. And again, either or really helps the show, makes it much more interactive. That is all that I have today on this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Nelson. Enjoy the weekend, and as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.